I was married and divorced twice by the time I was 32. So here's a little story time on my two first terrible husbands. I know what you're going to say. Oh, it's your fault. You said yes, you got married. But for the most part, I'm not perfect, but these were not my fault. I just also recorded this video for 9.5 minutes and it deleted, so that's great. So first husband, going to go really fast. I met him at a pizza shop when I was 17 years old. I had just graduated high school.
You guys don't care about your hobbies. We don't really care that much. We want a young, fertile vessel who is going to agree with us and like what we like and adapt to us, who is malleable and easily manipulated.
Test this early on. Be assertive about your plans. You make plans and give her direction. Hey, we going here on Friday. Be ready at Friday. We going out to eat. Or, we going to the movies on Friday. Or I want you to come over here. Or, I want you to come over here and bring XYZ. Don't wear jeans at my crib. Give them little instructions, and if they follow them, they're usually good followers. A lot of times, when women give you resistance early on, oh, how about we go here instead? How about we do this instead? Why we got to do this? Why we got to do this? Why? Or they counter suggesting this. Women like that are very masculine, combative, and they're not coachable.
I have not seen so many miserable women in my life. Beautiful women who appear to have everything going perfectly on the surface, but they get online and they tell you how wrecked their life is, how miserable they are. I think they're miserable because they have been lied to. They've been told that if they pursue a college degree, if they pursue a career, if they pursue personal fulfillment, if they pursue travel, if they pursue being the very best on their job, that they will be fulfilled and happy. And that's not true. That's not true. I believe they need to fulfill the one purpose that I think God put in the hearts of women. And that is to find that man who is to be your covering. Now, feminism has told us that marriage is slavery for women, that motherhood is slavery for women, that men just want to dominate us and put us under their thumb and keep us underfoot and keep us in the kitchen pregnant. Women who are single tell themselves that because they're single. And women who have walked away from their marriage tell themselves that because that makes them feel better. I'm here to tell you the truth. You're miserable because you're supposed to be under the covering of a man. That is part of life. That is part of being fulfilled. That is part of your purpose on this planet, to be under the covering of a man.
Hello fam, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing good. Today's video, we have a lot of topics to touch on. We have so many clips to react to, comments to read. And today's video is quite an interesting one because men had a lot to say. Men were also exposing themselves. Men spoke on how they silenced women in the past, how the silencing of women led to some autoimmune diseases in women. Dr. Gabo has also spoken about it extensively. That is not only what we have to cover in this video. We are going to start off with these and progress to other video clips. Let's get started.
What is the relevant biological distinction between men and women that makes men better at running a company from a position of being a CEO compared to that of a woman?
Because we don't crack under pressure.
Really? Did you know that A, women are biologically designed to deal with pressure or stress better than men? They have thicker dendrites in the context of their spine, giving them a greater ability to deal with and manage their emotions, such as stress. They were given this through evolution to deal with childbirth. Not to say that women have to give birth, just simply saying that because women do give birth, evolution gave them thicker dendrites in their spine, so they deal with stress easier. And we don't just see this on the biological level, as I've already suggested, but we also just see this in greater society. We see that 75% of self-unalivings are committed by men compared to women because women have a higher EQ on average, which means they could better process and deal with their emotions because of this biological underpinning, as well as other reasons. We also see that men are more likely to abuse hard drugs as an unhealthy coping mechanism to deal with unprocessed emotions. Meanwhile, women are more likely to go to therapy and do it right. We also see that 92% of violent crimes are committed by men, when violent crimes have an emotional and irrational response to things such as pressure, stress, emotions, and so on, meaning that only around 8% are committed by women. We see that men are disproportionately likely to drunk drive. Men are disproportionately likely likely to recklessly.
That would be risk
But then when
taking.
we look at things that are indicative of working well under pressure, being intelligent, properly managing your emotions, like going to therapy, like performing well in school, getting good grades, getting a good degree, performing well under stress in particular fields such as surgery, doctors, STEM exploration, etc., we see that women dominate men. So this idea that somehow men are better equipped to deal with pressure compared to women is false biologically speaking and false socially speaking from what we see via these empirical outcomes that I just listed.
Men are conditioned to hate women. And I want to talk about that just a little bit further. I saw a video of a girl talking about this last night, and so I just basically wanted to reiterate what she was saying. The video was posted years ago, so I just want to bring it back up in discussion. She was basically saying that, like, in today's society, men are not necessarily taught how to become men, but more so how to not become women. We're raised to believe that don't be sensitive, be a man. Don't cry, be a man. Don't be a be a man. As if the alternative is like the worst possible scenario. So what makes you think, after raising these young men, these young boys, after telling them their entire lives that doing this is the worst possible scenario, what makes you think that they would possibly have respect or love or interest in someone who is that exact embodiment, right? Exactly. So men are conditioned to hate women. Now, obviously there are exceptions depending on the circumstances or whatever, but that brings me to my next point. Men are also, and this can occur in women just by dictionary definition, but men are majority homosocial. And that's not the same thing as homosexuality. That's not saying that they are physically attracted to men sexually, but it's basically saying that, like, these men have more interest in other men than women, meaning they don't find women interesting at all. They don't find women funny. They don't have respect for them. They don't care about them. The only reason that these specific kind of men are sexually pursuing these women is specifically for other male validation. They're trying to get with these women to see how the boys will feel about them, how much cooler it makes them in the friend group because they've got a baddie on their side or whatever.
You guys don't care about your hobbies. We don't really care that much. We want a young, fertile vessel who is going to agree with us and like what we like and adapt to us, who is malleable and easily manipulated. We don't want a woman with opinions or hobbies. Shut up, have kids, cook, clean, be a good mom.
Here's a huge lie of the patriarchy that I fell for a long time. And it's the idea that men just inherently need respect. And so therefore, if your partner, your wife, anybody brings a message to you and it's not delivered with respect and decorum and politeness, that therefore the message can be disregarded. What a joke. You probably heard the quote from Laurel Thatcher Ulrich that well-behaved women seldom make history. I wonder why that is. Right? It's because men will not hear anything that is delivered with politeness in a culture that reinforces constantly the power dynamic that we are in charge. Right? So everything else that's delivered with decorum is able to be easily dismissed, right? Because now we're just chatting, we're just having a night, we're just having a friendly debate. And whatever your idea is not my idea, and we can agree to disagree. And because I am the one in power, I get to do what I want to do. And if you come at me with any level of intensity or passion, then oh my gosh, you're just an emotional creature and you need to be under control and put in check. How sad. In fact, we did put women literally in mental institutions for decades because they were speaking up, and we called them insane. There's insanity here, but it was never the women. Never. And this played out so sadly in my own life, because I have an incredible partner who was a badass and so talented, but I couldn't see her because she had been told that she couldn't speak up for her needs necessarily. And she also assumed, rightly, that somebody who really loves her would be leaning in with curiosity and would want to know what she was thinking. And so when she would bring up an idea that was uncomfortable to my own fragility, I would debate it. And if she did get passionate, I would say, you need to calm down. We're just talking here. And no surprise, eventually she stopped telling me the things that were important to her. And when I finally discovered that years later, there's some things you can't undo. And I don't know if we'll be able to repair our communication. I think we're on the path to do that. I don't know if we'll be able to repair our intimacy. That may be irreparable. So I just hope that somebody else can hear that. Somebody else can see this. And do better. Do better.
This is a report in Time magazine that's linking high rates of autoimmune diseases in women with traits they're often praised for, like being agreeable, extreme selflessness, and suppression of anger. The article cites research going back decades that show this in different ways. One study found that women who silenced themselves during fights with their spouses were 4 times more likely to die than those who spoke their truth. Another one found that the core theme among female patients with depression was a tendency to self-silence, and traits like compulsive caretaking, pleasing others, and suppressing their self-expression in order to achieve intimacy and relational needs. Now think about that. Self-silencing in these cases are almost starting as a survival strategy to get one's needs met. But this strategy is also the very thing that ends up eating away at survival. But the bottom line is this: when we push our feelings down and when we push our own needs aside for the comfort of others, our own health suffers. And society will even reward us for it. Because society praises that person who never says no and gets everything done, and it celebrates people who never makes a fuss. But the truth is that these virtues are actually slowly killing our own selves. So what's the answer? We need to protect ourselves. We need to stand up for ourselves because no one else is going to do that for us. Quite the opposite. The people around you will actually benefit from you not doing it. But this takes courage. It takes awareness. It takes listening to our bodies to know that the feelings and the emotions inside are signals rather than inconveniences. We need to set boundaries even when it disappoints people, and we need to protect our needs instead of abandoning them. Now, this takes practice, especially if you're coming from a place where you've been conditioned to do otherwise, and it takes choosing ourselves over and over again over the comfort of others. And at first, it might feel selfish, but it actually is not selfish, because only when we are healthy and happy ourselves, we can truly show up for others and help them too. So stop self-silencing, give yourself a voice, give your needs a voice, because it really is the way to stay alive and healthy.
There are more conversations going on in the comment section of those video clips we just watched. That I will have a look at later on in this video. But right now, I would love to focus on the clip that spoke about how women were being thrown into psych homes because they spoke up. What he said is true. I was able to verify that, and there are studies, publications made on this. For centuries, women who spoke up against social norms, challenged male authorities, or simply showed strong emotions, such women were labeled hysterical, mad, or unfit. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, especially, psychiatry and institutionalization were weaponized against women. Hysteria diagnoses were used to label women who were outspoken, independent, or even just suffering from stress or reproductive issues. The word came from Greek, hysteria, which means uterus. It basically reflects sexist belief that a woman's mental health problem comes from her womb. Women were also sent in for asylum. They were sent to asylum homes for merely speaking up, for being disobedient and rebellious. You would often see fathers, uncles, brothers sending their sisters to the asylum homes. Elizabeth Packard in the 1960s in Illinois is an example. She was institutionalized by her husband for disagreeing with his religious belief and views. Because of that, he sent her to the asylum home. In the 20th century, women who wanted to divorce, who resisted abusive marriages, or were even too vocal in communities, risked being diagnosed with depression, hysteria, or schizophrenia. And some of them were also institutionalized. Patriarchy had a huge control on women. Psychiatry became a tool to silence women who stepped out of line.
So if I was to ask you, who are you? What would you tell me?
A mother.
That's for somebody else. Who are you?
A child of God.
That's great. Who are you?
Nicole, I'm 42-year-old. I don't know.
Not giving me demographics.
Yeah.
When we define ourselves, especially when you have a fixing as an identity, you know who you are for others. You do not know who you are for self. Do I even know my own interests? Do I even know my own hobbies? Give me 5 things you love about you now. Go.
About me. I have a big heart. I'm beautiful. I'm confident. I'm a caregiver. That's for somebody else. Oh, that's for somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so much I can say. I don't know.
You found your assignment. I am a mystery to myself. You are a woman who lacks identity.
Wow.
So you are being provoked into a relationship with self.
Amen.
This is where you have to start figuring out, if I remove the role, because mommy is a role.
Yes, it is.
Sister is a role. Caregiver is a role. If nobody was attached to you, who would you be? When I asked you who you are, you should have an answer.
What makes a woman the right person for you to marry? There are 12 things on the list that make a person the right person to marry. And none of them are love. Nobody said love. I love her. That was the given. That's the easy part. Loving women is not scarce to them, so they don't have to find a woman to love. Men commit differently than women. Men pick up the whole package. So they start by they're looking for a woman with complementary strength. They are looking for strength, and they see a woman that's really, really, really strong, but they don't need to be duplicated. And they don't want to be duplicated. They want to be admired for the ways that they're strong that you aren't. And the only reason they want to be admired by you is because they admire you. It's not because they think so little.
When a man compliments you that you're wife material, my sister, know that you're doing a lot of things wrong. However, when men often tell you that you're not wife material, that you look too high maintenance, you're not humble, that you do not have an endurance spirit, know that you're doing a whole lot of things right. Because oftentimes, this idea of submission to a lot of men is a doormat, a woman who lacks agency, and a woman who is not assertive enough to hold them accountable for a lot of things. So when they tell you you're not wife material, please, you're doing a whole lot right. Okay?
Test this early on. Be assertive about your plans. You make plans and give her direction. Hey, we going here on Friday. Be ready at Friday. We going out to eat. Or, we going to the movies on Friday. Or I want you to come over here. Or, I want you to come over here and bring XYZ. Don't wear jeans at my crib. Give them little instructions, and if they follow them, they're usually good followers. A lot of times, when women give you resistance early on, how about we go here instead? How about we do this instead? Why we got to do this? Why we got to do this? Why? Or they counter suggesting this. Women like that are very masculine, combative, and they're not coachable, right?
These men don't want a woman with a brain at all. They just want a mindless person to follow them blindly. It doesn't matter if he's leading you into a ditch. It doesn't matter if he's leading you into a brick wall. He wants to lead you there. He doesn't care if you're more intelligent in this area, you have more experience in this area. He wants to be able to say, I'm the man, and what I say goes. And to me, that's silly. Because a good man would want a smart and intelligent woman by his side to help him to make the best decisions. That's why the president has a cabinet of people who know better than him in certain areas.
When you say wife material is not a compliment, because oftentimes it refers to somebody, a woman who is like a doormat, who is easily manipulative and who is built for endurance and endurance of bullshit. A lot of women who describe themselves as that and fall into those, stereotypical idea of wife material get very defensive. But the thing is, ladies, it's not about you and how you view yourself. It's about the men and the assumptions that a lot of them have around who they think of as a wife material. So if you're a lady whose identity is wrapped in this entire concept of wife material, I need you to correct these men when they come to you and they pick you because you fit that concept of a wife material. I need you to correct these assumptions that they have of you that may not be correct. I am Ghanaian. I was born and raised in Ghana, but I've been in the US since 2014, and I have met a lot of African American men who meet me and get immediately excited that I'm African. They start praising me. Oh, I love African girls. They are sweet, they are calm, they are wife material, they are not loud and obnoxious and ghetto like our regular black women. They try to compare me with an African American woman, but then within minutes they quickly realize that number one, I do not fit that image they have of an African woman, and then number two, that I actually admire African American women. It's so crazy to see. And then they immediately accuse me of allowing America and the system to corrupt me. How has America corrupted me? Because I have strong opinions, because I have a voice, because I do not think a woman's sole duty and purpose in life is to be a wife and a mother alone, that I think cooking and cleaning does not reside in a vagina. So ladies, it's not about you, it's about them. Anyways, wife material is not a compliment.
I'm not giving up my dreams for my children. Yeah, I may make some sacrifices here and there, but I'm not giving up everything for them. My children don't have to be the center of my world. I adore them, yes, but my dreams still matter. I still matter. It's important for them to see me living, pursuing, growing, and not just existing for their needs. The greatest gift that I can give them is to show them that love doesn't require you to lose yourself.
Many women, many mothers, wives have no identity because of how demanding the job of a wife is and motherhood. As a wife, you are expected to center your husband. Make your life all about that of your husband. You serve him, you're expected to be at his beck and call. Make all your time out for him. At the end of the day, many women don't even have time for personal self-care, let alone going out there to enroll in a university, learn a skill, learn something else to personally develop themselves. Imagine being a mother of so many kids and a wife to a very demanding man. It literally means your life becomes a sacrifice for that family to function. You need to lose yourself to make other people happy. And this is what we often see in our society. Women would say they don't have time for themselves because they are being there for their children and for their husband. You cannot claim to love the people around you and lose yourself in the process. That is not love. You're just being used by the man you're serving. Yes, I use the word service because to men, women are to serve them. And that is how they say it. And that is what marriage means to a lot of men. When a man wants to get married, that man knows exactly what he's looking out for. Many of them don't go out there looking for women that will bring headache to them, women that will challenge their authority, women that are rebellious. They don't want such women. Rather, they're out there looking for naive, submissive women, women that they can easily control and manipulate, women that are more than willing to do their bidding and be at their beck and call. This is what they're looking for, and such women easily slip into this phase of losing themselves and making their lives all about the man. And if they have children, they also make their lives all about their children. I'm pretty sure we all saw the video clip I played where the man was talking about how to test a woman to find out if she's going to be submissive to you. In the dating phase, you send her on errand, tell her what to do. If that woman is that type that is suggestive, that she's good at suggesting things, she's very vocal, that is already a red flag. What does that tell you? They don't want people that will challenge their authority. They don't want people that they cannot easily manipulate and use. We saw the video clip where the woman was asked about her identity. Who is she as a person? She could not answer it. Her identity was being attached to people she had in her life. Although she didn't say if she was married, but to me she looks like someone that was married or is married and has kids. At some point, she did say she's a caregiver. Who are you outside your marriage, your children? Who are you as a person? And this is what I have been talking about. Be your own person. You can have a family and still be your own person. Your children will grow up one day and they will understand. You don't have to pause your life because you just give birth to a child. I often hear women say, I want to be the person that want to be there for my child. I want to be the one to take care of my child up until a certain age. Why are you pouring all that into your child? That child is going to grow up tomorrow and have his or her own life. If you can get help, why don't you do that? I know people can also argue and say, oh, women that neglect their children, sometimes those children don't turn out being well behaved. Some people might be so quick to make reference to single mothers, or because single mothers don't have the time to be there for their children, they need to go out there to work, so nobody was there to caution them, to oversee them, look over their shoulders to see what they're doing. When children are being left alone, they can easily pick up bad behaviors, join bad gang, start some negative vices and all that. I get it. That is if your child is grown. And you also need to go out there and work and make money. In as much as mothers, fathers, parents invest a lot in children with the hopes of that child or those children turning out to be better people in the future. However a child turns out still depends on that child. You can give the child the best training, the best education, the best moral training, biblical training. That child can go out there tomorrow and decide to do the opposite. It's not because you as a parent, you did not do your best, but it's because that child chose to do the opposite. I'm not saying that as a mother, as a parent, you should not be there for your child. You should not train your child. Do your best, but don't kill yourself in the process. There's some certain things you cannot control, and you do not have to pause your life because of the fear of not wanting your child to become a bad child in the future. There's some children that didn't have anyone to train them, some destitute, but they still turn out being good. What does that tell you? There are some children that learned how to behave from watching movies. They didn't have any parents to tell them what to do. Why they have some children that had parents, they had a village, but they still turned out being bad. So don't say because you want your child to be a good child, then you sacrifice your own life just for that child. Have you heard stories of children growing up, neglecting their parents, even when their parents were not toxic to them, their parents did everything for them? You are not a God to that child, although people say you are God on earth to that child. But there's a limit. You don't lose your life because of your child. You can only do your best and leave the rest for God. And I think God that created you brought you here for a purpose, not just to reproduce and have a family. There is more to it. So don't limit yourself because you're married or you have a child. Don't do that. Let's talk about those pygmies that don't believe that a woman can exist without a man. Those pygmies that make their lives all about men, all about finding a man, all about getting married, all about sleeping with a man. And when they see a woman that is not doing same, they become angry and they start preaching, oh, you were created to find a man, get married and have children. That was why you were created. This is how they think. This is what they believe in. And such women, you don't argue with them. You don't exchange words with them. You don't even try to prove any point to them. Just let them be and live their lives that way. Such women are the bitter women that are suffering in marriages. And they believe that the suffering, the way their husbands are treating them is how it's supposed to be. I'm not saying that all pygmies have bad marriages, but a lot of them are dying and suffering in silence. Let's watch these videos.
I have not seen so many miserable women in my life. Beautiful women who appear to have everything going perfectly on the surface, but they get online and they tell you how wrecked their life is, how miserable they are. I think they're miserable because they have been lied to. They've been told that if they pursue a college degree, if they pursue a career, if they pursue personal fulfillment, if they pursue travel, if they pursue being the very best on their job, that they will be fulfilled and happy. And that's not true. That's not true. I believe they need to fulfill the one purpose that I think God put in the hearts of women. And that is to find that man who is to be your covering. Now, feminism has told us that marriage is slavery for women, that motherhood is slavery for women, that men just want to dominate us and put us under their thumb and keep us underfoot and keep us in the kitchen pregnant. Women who are single tell themselves that because they're single. And women who have walked away from their marriage tell themselves that because that makes them feel better. I'm here to tell you the truth. You're miserable because you're supposed to be under the covering of a man. That is part of life. That is part of being fulfilled. That is part of your purpose on this planet, to be under the covering of a man. Of course, you can just disregard everything I'm saying and call me a pick-me and go on with your life. How's that working for you so far?
A man is easy to find a woman to get over his depression. Easy. I keep telling that a man have a dick standing like this, and a lot of single women out there wouldn't mind to get a dick to bone them. But you know the woman because you're a nurturer and you hold on to things. It's not easy and quick for you to let it go. Because you want to, I'm trying to heal. Heal? The only way you're going to heal from a man who has left you is to sit on another dick and heal yourself. Because when you have both dick to think about, you don't get complacent and only thinking about the one that you've left. A lot of you don't like to hear me talk this, but I'm telling you the truth. Back in the days, way of life and living ain't working today, honey. No. Too many women in society, be it you're white or you're brown or you're black, you're Indian or Asian. Too many of us here are single and we're complaining. We cannot find a man or we cannot find this. There are a lot of men out there who would want women, but we become now picky. You pick it. Oh, I don't want that one. Him look like him would cheat. Oh, I don't want that one. He's not tall enough. I don't want that one. Oh, he's too fat. We're complaining. We become picky. Meanwhile, other women will come by and take the fat man. Meanwhile, we're still looking for Mr. Slim, skinny, and hunky. He's not coming. But the girl came by us and took the fat man. And you know what she did with the fat man? He was overweight, but she needed a man and he had a dick. She didn't watch the weight. She took him to the gym. She changed his diet and started taking care of him. And that fat man wanted a woman to love him so bad. They start living together now and having a good life. And then you now, Miss Picky, is sitting there. Lord, I can't find a man. Why? Listen, man. If you listen to what I say and pick the sense out of what I say, even though some of you might think I'm speaking nonsense, you will live a little, laugh a lot, and fuck plenty.
Your fridge is empty, but you're thinking about a man. You ain't got a license, you're thinking about a man. You haven't gone to school, you don't have a job, but a man is on your mind. Every minute, man. Like, no salah, no prayer, no connection to God. Man, that's all she thinks about. Men. Every minute, male-centered to the max. Like, if you don't pick up a goddamn hobby or a goddamn a book, shit. I'm so sorry, but how you ain't got a job? How you ain't got a job, but you posting couple goals? Couple goals. Oh my God, I just want couple
purple goals and roses, pictures. How about go read a book? Read a book, god damn it. Go and do something that's worthwhile. You're just thinking about man, while the man just wants one thing, you know. Hey, he just wants one thing from you. That's it. You know, go and really focus, please. Let's lock in this year. Stop being so male-centered, please.
I have a question. Do you know of any lady that picked up an overweight man, cleaned him up, married him, is feeding that man, and the man is loyal to her up to this date? The man went to the gym, lost weight, is not looking macho, and he's not out there chasing the next girl, but this man is loyal to her. Do you know of any man? I'm not saying that all men are bad. Nope, I'm not saying that. In my previous video, I made mention of this statement, all men are the same, because many women out there think so, and I can't argue that with them because they are speaking from their own experience. If a woman has been with 20 men and her experience has been bad, she has every right to think that way, if you get what I mean. You get? But I don't think all men are the same. And I said the only time I'm going to agree to that statement is if you tell me that men are bad because of their genetics, how they were created. But if you're saying that men's bad behavior mostly comes from the society, then all men cannot be the same because not all men were brought up in the same background. Even if the society does have a huge effect, there's some parents that are intentional when it comes to parenting, and they do everything possible to make sure their child does not end up the way the society wants them to end up. I know before now I did speak about we not giving up our life for our children because we want them to end up in a certain way. Those children are good not because of their parents alone, but because they chose to be good. You can take a horse to the stream, but you can never force that horse to drink. You can teach your child as much as you can, but the decision to be a good child lies on that child. So for the people, the pick-me's saying that the reason why women are sad is because they don't have a deed, they need a deed, they need to write a deed. Telling someone that in order for you to heal, get over a man is by getting on another man's deed is the way to go. That's a wrong advice, in my opinion. This is a very common thing you would hear people say, especially when a girl is struggling to let go of a man emotionally after a breakup. It's just a temporary solution. It's just a matter of time you start seeing the other man's true color. That hurt is still going to be there. You need to feel the pain and heal. If you're jumping onto the next one, you're just covering it. That emotion is going to jump out sooner than you think. What's the point jumping to another man where you've not healed? And you need to heal, discover who you are, love yourself, build boundaries, and protect yourself. It's all about you. It's all about self-love. If you love yourself as a woman, you will not be jumping from one man to another, going to meet men for validation, going to meet men to feel better, depending on men to make you feel better. You don't love yourself. You don't love yourself because the chances of you getting hurt is high. So you wouldn't want to put yourself in that position. Why don't you invest that energy on yourself and on finding how to be enough for yourself that the next person wouldn't have that power to hurt you that bad or even hurt you at all? Why don't you focus on learning how to control your own emotion rather than depending on someone else to do that for you? The woman saying that women were created to be under the cover of a man, be it slavery, whatever it is, that's how it's supposed to be. I told you, pick-me's are all over and they think this way. They've been conditioned, grown to think this way, and they think this is the right way. There is no amount of preaching that we make them see things differently. Even if the man is beating them, they believe that is how he's supposed to be. This, her preaching, whatever she said, is in line with what the Bible says or what the Bible is saying. The narrative the Bible is pushing out there, that women were created for men. So, however way that man treats you, it's okay because you are a servant to him. Let's move on to the next phase of this video that has to do with dating, baby daddy, drama, people having more kids and suffering due to finances, and the baby daddies not being responsible.
I don't know why the question, why is you still single, still a relevant thing. I feel like the most level-headed people is single because it's just too much. And then motherfuckers be like, oh, it's shit in the dating pool. At this point, people out here overly freaky. It's like, it's coming the dating pool. Everybody just want to hump. Or you get somebody number, it's good morning, good morning, good fucking morning, every morning. What did you eat? What's your favorite color? What? I don't want to do this shit over again. So you just be like, I'm gonna stay single. It's either deal with all that shit, right? Go through that shit multiple times before you find somebody you can actually vibe with, or go back to the bullshit you just left from, because it's a little comfortability there. It's a lose. That's why people be single. Oh, you damn sure better not go on no dating site. Oh my God, welcome to the fucking ghetto. Then you gotta do all this small talk, all this shit, to finally meet this motherfucker, to find out you don't even like this motherfucker for real. You won't even be able to be around this motherfucker for real. That's why it's just easy to stay single. That's the fucking answer to the question. Why are you single? It's fucking easy, and it's stressless. There's no stress in this shit.
Where are you from?
I'm from China.
Would you rather raise kids here or raise kids in China?
I don't want to raise kids.
You don't want kids? Why?
Too expensive.
Get a rich husband.
I want freedom, so I don't want a husband too.
You don't want a husband? What do you want to do?
Just being single, enjoy myself, and be with my cat. I have a cat.
You want to be with your cat for the rest of your life?
Maybe I will keep a dog too.
I love Chinese women's dating advice. They really do not come to play. I'm gonna share some of my favorites. Starting strong, 心疼男人是不幸的开始, which means feeling sorry for a man is the beginning of your misfortune. Number 2, 给男人花钱倒霉一辈子. Spending money on men brings you bad luck for a lifetime. The third one, 只要荣华富贵，不求一丝真情. As long as I get wealth, I don't need a shred of true love. 会呼吸的男人真的很减分. As long as a man is breathing, he is disappointing. And last but not the least, which is 100% true, 不婚不育保平安. Stay unmarried and child-free, and you will stay happy and safe.
I tell you young girls what nobody's gonna tell you. You got fucking 3 kids at 24 years old. You're getting ready to struggle. You're getting ready to cry. You're getting ready to be depressed. You're getting ready to want to
Hey, it's me. I'm her. I'm the girl that she's talking about in the video. I'm not specifically, I don't know her. She doesn't know me. So she's not talking about me, but I can relate. I'm 23 and I have 3 kids and I'm fucking struggling. This shit is not peaches and rainbows. This shit is hard. I would not wish this life on my worst enemy. The life that you pictured and had and wanted and was promised, is you're not going to get it, babe. Let it the fuck go. Some people do get lucky and they have men that stick around or have this big village. A lot of us aren't lucky like that. Like I said, I have friends that could drop their baby off to anybody. Guess what? They got 1 baby or 2 babies. I have 3 kids. Don't nobody want to watch 3 kids, 3 little babies that still need their diaper change. Nobody want to do it. Sorry. Everybody that was when you was pregnant, oh, I'm gonna get the baby, I'm gonna do this for the baby. What the people at? Them people don't give no fuck. Like she said, there's gonna be times when you off yourself. Y'all look at this. Literally, I stayed in the hospital for a whole fucking week because I had an overdose. I overdosed because I literally did not want to be here no more. I didn't have a pulse for 11 something, almost 12 minutes because I didn't want to be here. I felt like it's not worth being here because guess what? Yes, I cry myself to sleep most nights. Most nights I am fucking stressed. My hair's falling out. Y'all have videos. I'm answering them if y'all want to see them, but I should not be 23 literally brushing my hair to the point my shit falling out. I gotta keep cutting my hair. This is not the life I wish on my worst enemy. And yes, this shit get ugly. And yes, I post, and yes, all that, but behind closed doors, this shit is ugly as hell. I would not wish this shit on nobody at all. Like she said, don't have no fucking kids. Love is not enough. These niggas don't give no fuck. They don't care. And I have 1 baby daddy. I don't have multiple baby. I have 1 baby daddy. That nigga don't give a fuck. That nigga be around when it's beneficial. That nigga be around when the shit going, when he feel like when he need me. That's what really is. Fuck, as long as a motherfucker accepting the bare minimum, we cool. And it feel like for me, on the flip end of that, I be accepting the bare minimum and the little pieces of shit because I just be wanting help. Because guess what? I don't got no big village of people that's gonna come and stuff for me and my kids. Fuck, so I'm accepting the littlest fucking piece of shit. Fuck, over nothing, just for some fucking help. Cause guess what? When I ain't accepting that, the nigga gone disappear. What the fuck he at now? Fuck, on with the next bitch and her kid. It's really mind blowing to me. And only thing I gotta say is y'all listen to her. This shit is really fucking hard. Nobody cares. The same nigga that you laying on your back for don't even give a fuck if you eating at night. Fuck. Same nigga that you doing all this for can't even help you fucking your kids move. Like, Y'all, some people do get lucky. Some people, like I said, some people get lucky, and some people do have this fantasy life, and some people get lucky and blessed with good men, but y'all, it's not worth it. Look at me. I look a fucking mess right now. That's what I'm doing. I just dropped my kids off at daycare. I still have to go home and unpack because they can't fucking just be anywhere. But guess what? I also need to DoorDash and make some fucking money because my tank is on E. Like, it's hard. Don't nobody want to hire me because I can't work on weekends because I have nobody to keep my kids. I can't stay past certain times because guess what? My kids have to be picked up at a certain time or they're going to charge me for it. And guess who's going to pay the late fees? Nobody but me. It's hard, y'all. It's hard. I would not wish this on nobody. Y'all, them kids. Fuck them kids. And if you got one kid, stop at the one kid. This shit is this society, this life is too hard to be having 3 kids with no help. I would not wish this on nobody. Like I said, look at me. All the extra money I get, it ain't going to get my nails done. It ain't going to get my hair done. I do that shit by myself. And guess what? I barely have time to do that. So it be feeling like a motherfucker, I don't know. Just listen to her and listen to me. If you like, cause I was reading the comments, somebody was saying, oh, you're not 23 though. You don't know how it is. You don't have 3 kids. You don't have 4 kids. Well, look, I do. And I'm telling you, all that shit that y'all talking, no, she's telling the fucking truth. You're about to struggle. You're about to be fucking stressed and depressed. Just don't have no kids, y'all. Just take it from me. Don't have no kids.
Somebody made a post and said, tell me the worst thing your baby daddy did to you, but I don't want to hear cheating. No, I want to hear the most brutal shit somebody could ever do. So, okay, I'll go first. I first moved to Atlanta in 2021, and that's when I started in-person college, because when I first started college, it was online. And he got the apartment in his name because I had already had an apartment in my name in Detroit. So the apartment was primarily in his name. Like, we used his credit, all that. This is when we thought we were still going to be together or whatever. Cool. During my pregnancy, we ended up splitting up, but when I got down here, I was pregnant. So I was still pregnant going to school. Now, if you know, 2021, 2022, around that time, that's the heightened time of COVID. So during this time frame, they had some type of rental assistance that you can apply for. He was getting a rental assistance for people in Michigan, and it was one in Georgia too, but I guess the one in Georgia was slower. I'm not the type of person that want to wait on no rental assistance, especially if I really don't need it, because bitch, I know when I want to have a roof over my head. He was not living in Georgia. I was the only one living in Georgia. He was living in Michigan. We weren't together. We were broken up, but you're already legally bounded to the apartment, and I'm pregnant with your kid. So we talked about it. He said I could stay there, and even though I didn't apply for the apartment with my credit, my name was still on it as a resident. So he couldn't tell me I couldn't stay there because, but since we wasn't together and he wasn't staying there, I said that I would pay the rent. I didn't have access to the rent portal, so I was sending him my rent. That apartment, I think, was $2,000 a month. I did not have access to the rent portal. Whenever I would ask for access, he didn't give it to me. So every month I was sending him $2,000. Do y'all know that this man was never paying the rent out of the money that I was sending him? He was pocketing the money. He applied for Georgia rent assistance, and he was waiting to get the Georgia rent assistance to cover the balance of the rent that was owed. So he was just basically keeping the $2,000 every single month. One day I woke up, I was having a real weird morning, but nevertheless, I woke up and I went out and I was about to go to school. And at the apartment that I was living at the time, the maintenance people would drive around on these caddy cars or whatever. And so I went downstairs. Andrew, I never used to talk to nobody, nothing like that. But I went downstairs and it was a man driving past and he said, you better not leave. They gonna come looking for you. I said, who gonna come looking for me? He said, what apartment you in? My apartment number was 8203. So I said 8203. He said, yeah, they coming for you today. I said, who? He said, the marshal. I said, the marshal? What the fuck did I do? He said, they putting you out today, so you might want to go try to get a head start and get everything. Mind you, I had no friends in Atlanta. Well, I had one, but I didn't realize how close we was until after this happened. I didn't have nobody to help me. I gathered up a couple of things, but for the most part, all of my shit was in the parking lot, and I got evicted.
In life, everyone wants different things. Some people might coincidentally want the same thing, but might not be the same thing all the time. You know what I mean? So why did I say that? Some women want to be married. They want to have husbands. They want to have children. And there's nothing really wrong with that. While some women don't want to be married, they don't even want men in their life. There's also nothing wrong with it. The reason why we women are speaking up is because we've come to the realization that we are assuming a lot. We've come to the realization that men and women are not the same. the way we think, the way we were conditioned, we are not the same. But we're the same in some level, but when it comes to relationship and the way we view things in relationship, we are not the same. When men think about women, most of them, not all of them, think about a tool that will give them sexual satisfaction, a tool that they can use to sex themselves. They think about an appliance that will get things done for them, house chores. They think about something or an object that will keep their lineage going, bore them children. And the fact that it seems like women were conquered in the past, like I've always said, I don't really know the onset of this. I'm still trying to find out how it all started. So back to what I was saying, it seems like women were conquered and men are the ones in charge right now. Obviously, they said it's a man's world. They are so quick to say that. And even with the way things are being done, you can easily tell that. So men want to continuously be in charge, have men beneath them. And the way their system is structured, they place themselves above us. And to them, it's like we are slaves to them. When you talk about the patriarchy marriage, it's a man getting married to a slave. The fact that we have modernization, women speaking up, fighting for their rights, men have devised another means. They've gotten smarter. They have better strategy. In order for them to still get a woman to bow to them, a woman that will allow them, manipulate them, and center them, their choosing process is now more rigorous. They have a list of things they are looking out for in women. They want you to be agreeable. They want you to be submissive. They want you to be loyal. When a man talks about respect, what he means is obedience. Don't complain. Do not question his bad behavior. Accept his BS. That is what he's talking about. A man that is cheating on you, we're talking about respect. Who gives you the audacity to talk about respect when you are the one disrespecting the relationship and the woman? But they don't see it that way. Because in their head, they are superior, they are above. So it's okay if you want to have a child earlier on in life, but you have to also think thoroughly about it. The time we are in right now, it's a hard one, especially financially. You have to think about it if you have the financial capacity, okay. You also have to think about it when it comes to the man you want to do that with. Getting married does not guarantee you're going to remain married. Many women are becoming single mothers, not because that was what they wanted to be at the beginning, but things happen. So if you're deciding to be with a man and have a child, make sure you're having that child based on your own capacity, not because you have a man, not because you're depending on the man to cater for your child, for your children, but do it because you can cater for that child or those children with or without the man. For the lady that has 3 children for one baby daddy, people were insulting her, saying that why would you make the same mistake 3 times? A lot of women fall into those traps because of how we are. We are humans. We easily fall for men's lies, especially those men that are out to play us, those men that are out to use us. They are smooth talkers. They know what they're doing. They're very manipulative. So if you don't know about men, you can easily fall into their trap. They're very intentional when it comes to playing us. So anyone could be in her shoes if you're not informed, if you don't know what men are up to, you don't know how men view women. Anyone can fall into that trap. The first one, or maybe you were thinking, he's a good man. Okay, I don't mind. I have a good man. I can have a child. The second one, maybe he came back pleading, oh, forgive me. Something happened. Oh, you are misunderstanding me. Maybe he was gaslighting her, because men are good at gaslighting women. Then the third one didn't see it coming. I'm not in any way making excuses for her. I'm just trying to see reasons with her because men are very manipulative. You might never see them coming. So that's why it's important for you to study men, understand men. So when you're dealing with them, you will understand the kind of person you're dealing with and how to navigate relationships with men. Men know our nature as women. They know how we are. They've taken time to study us. That's why they can easily fool us, use us, manipulate us. But we women, we date men based on assumption. We assume because we are good, that man should be good because he's a human. But that's not the case. That's not the case. Men are selfish. Men are more selfish than women are. Women easily sacrifice when men don't do that. So we are not the same. Women can easily see other humans as humans, but men don't really do that. That's why they hardly see us women as humans. Rather, they see us as slaves, things to use, people to use. Let's finish off with this particular video clip.
I was married and divorced twice by the time I was 32. So here's a little story time on my two first terrible husbands. I know what you're going to say. Oh, it's your fault. You said yes, you got married. But for the most part, I'm not perfect, but these were not my fault. I just also recorded this video for 9.5 minutes and it deleted, so that's great. So first husband, gonna go really fast. I met him at a pizza shop when I was 17 years old. I had just graduated high school. He was 10 years older than me. He got a job delivering pizzas at nighttime. Couldn't stand him when I first met him. Everybody that lived in that pizza shop ended up moving into a big 2-story house and renting rooms. He ended up moving there as well. We ended up talking. You know how it goes. We ended up dating. We moved out. We were thriving, even though he was always abusive pretty much since the time we moved out, verbally and physically. A little bit of a trigger warning. So we moved out. We got custody of his 2 kids who were 1 and 2 at the time. And my parents had divorced. My dad decided he wasn't going to talk to me for a couple years because he was really bitter and didn't have good coping skills. And so I feel like I might have gravitated towards this man because I was manipulated and also probably because I was lacking that father figure. So anyways, he was verbally and physically abusive. He told me who my friends were. I wasn't able to talk to my friends from high school. At this point, I was 18. We got married 6 months after I turned 18. And he told me what to wear. I had to wear shorts to my knees. I had to wear big old oversized t-shirts. Oddly enough, favorite things to wear now. So anyways, he was terrible. He was terrible to me. He was terrible to his kids. I wanted to leave for a really long time and I didn't. I didn't leave for a long time because I didn't want to leave those kids. I loved them. And for several years, I just protected myself and protected these children, and finally got to the point where I was like, I can't stay here any longer. And so I told him, hey, you're so mean to me. I want a divorce. I want to leave. And he told me that if I left him, that he was going to do away with my mother. And I believed him, so I stayed. Unfortunately, a year later, my mother ended up passing away. And then about 6 months after that, I thought, what do I have to lose? And so I told him that I was leaving. Over the years, he did calm down. It more so was like throwing stuff in verbal rather than physical. Not that that's any better. I packed up my stuff and I went to my friend's house for a week. He came over. We were still talking during that week, and he's like, please, I love you, I'm sorry, I'll change, this, that, and the other. Idiot me, went back to the house. He took the kids to soccer practice, said, please be here when I come back, and I was looking around the house, and I was like, this literally isn't my home. This is not where I need to be. This is not where I belong. So I packed my stuff up, and I left again. This man went back to the house where I was at, and I drove a little sports car at the time. A little 2-door car, went fast, and he came to the house and he was acting really strange, like saying goodbye. And I'm like, what is this guy doing? And he got down, he brought his kids, gave them a hug and a kiss, and told them, when you don't have a dad, remember always in your heart that it was Amy's fault. He looked at me, looked at my keys that were on the counter, grabbed them and took off running. I chased after him. We were at an apartment complex and we were parked right next to each other. And I knew what he was going to do. He had thrown the keys to his truck, so I jumped in the truck, backed up and kind of blocked him in from being able to get out of the parking spot. He jumped out of the car and somehow hit the window on the passenger side, and it fell off the track about halfway, and he flew into the car, or into the truck, grabbed the keys out of the ignition, and we played tug of war with him. I ended up with the little fob, and he ended up with the keys. And so he then goes to the car, and I get out and I'm like, what are you doing? Blah, 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 this, that, and the other. He gets in the car and he tries to get me in the car with him, and I am able to get his hand off of my shirt, for lack of better words, and get away. I call 911 and he does a 1,000-point turn out of this parking spot because he's blocked in, and gets away. They pursue him down the street of our 6,000 people town. That's not right. 6,000 people lived in this town. Anyways, they chase him down Main Street about 140 miles an hour. He ends up on a back road, and his goal was, we know what his goal was. And he was on the phone with me, or leaving me a voicemail because I was on the phone with 911, and he essentially was going to put the telephone pole in the driver's seat. He was not wearing a seatbelt. He was leaving me a voicemail at the time telling me that he was going to haunt me in my dreams and all these terrible things. And I don't know if you know this, but telephone poles are meant to snap at high rates of speed. He thought that it was just going to be in there. And so what happened is he snapped the telephone pole and ended up rolling the car about 16 times. He was airlifted to the hospital with a broken spine, and the back of his head was smashed in. I go to the hospital, and he kind of had a crappy family, and he had 3 cousins. 2 of them did not like me the whole 5 years we were together. And the doctor comes out and says, hey, he's asking for Amy. And so I'm going back there, and the cousins are like, we want to go back there. And the doctor says, well, it's up to her. She's the wife. And me trying, be nice or whatever, I'm like, okay, yeah, go back there with me. And he is on the bed, covered in you-know-what, and he's got the thing on his neck. And I think he's going to tell me something like I made a mistake or whatever there is to tell me. And he says, I hope you know this is your fault. And his cousins look at me and they're like, it is your fault, and start petting his arm. I'm an idiot, and I stuck around. He was transferred to a rehabilitation center after he had, that first night he had brain surgery to get the skull out of there. And then like a week later, he ended up having spinal surgery. He's paralyzed about this far above his belly button, so he can't even sit up. He's transferred to rehabilitation center to learn to live like that. And I go with him for about 2 months, and it's not any better. Let me use choice words so we don't get in trouble here. He took utensil out of the cafeteria and brought it back to the room that we were staying in. We had a little private room, and tried to tell me to fix something, one of the cords that was on his bed or something, I don't know, and tried to get me. And that was the final straw. I left. He made my life a living hell, had his friends pop the tires to my car. Everybody was really on his side for a long time. Eventually that all changed, and we all saw things for how they really were. And so to this day he is paralyzed. To this day I still talk to his children, and his daughter was actually the bridesmaid in my wedding to my current husband now. And he, I believe, she told me a couple months ago that he was actually arrested for domestic violence in his wheelchair. So I'm at 7 minutes. I'm going to try to squeeze in the second husband. I was single. I was doing my own thing. I was going to the gym, and I met a man. Apparently, he was a grade below me. I didn't know him. He had just gotten back from the military, and I think this was in 2011, maybe 2012. I don't know. And I had left the first husband in 2009. And so we start talking. I ask a few people about him. They're like, oh yeah, great guy, blah, blah, blah. Quiet guy, super nice. Everybody loves him. Dad loves him. At this point, Dad's back in my life. Mother's passed away. And everybody loves him. We worked the same shift, morning shift. They needed him to work swing shift for a couple months because they were short-staffed. During that time, somebody introduced him into a white substance. He had never done anything like that before. I was unaware of it. He started coming home at 2 in the morning instead of 11:30 at night. And his behavior started to change. He was really aggressive. He was really mean. He was really moody. And I had talked to a couple friends about it. I'm like, maybe he has PTSD. So at this point, we're married. I'm trying to be a good wife and be understanding because I really don't know what's wrong with him. And so he's acting really outlandish and then having really odd behavior. And again, I'm going to tread lightly with my wording here. Snapchat was really big back then, and he had showed me his Snapchat, and he's like, hey, this guy who likes guys, which that's not a problem, is messaging me a lot. And I'm like, all you gotta do is block him. Well, why are you telling me this? One night I get up and I look at his phone and I see all these notifications from this man, and he had told me that he had blocked him a couple weeks before, and I'm like, that's weird. I'm almost approaching the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to have to unfortunately do a part 2, but it will be the final part, I promise.
Please head over to her page to listen to the part 2 of the story. Sorry I couldn't put it here. That will be too much of her content on my channel. I did mention that I will read comments at the beginning of this video when I first played the first set of video clips. Well, this video is becoming too long, and I will not be able to read comments. But let me just talk a little bit on the very first set of videos we watched at the beginning, where I'm the one that the guy spoke about silencing women. I have covered covered that topic a little bit on this channel. Dr. Gabble spoke about it. He's a researcher and he has spoken about this extensively. When you silence women, it's not just women alone. People were also able to mention children that were being raised in a family where they were not allowed to talk, express themselves. But the only difference is this: if a boy was brought up in a family where he wasn't given the opportunity to be expressive, he was always being shut down and all that, when that boy becomes a man, he dominates a woman and he gets his freedom and starts speaking. But with girls, we don't usually get freedom, especially when we end up with men and men want to dominate us. So it's worse with girls. That's why we see more women having autoimmune diseases compared to men. And the doctor said it's mainly because of this whole silencing. There are other reasons, but he was able to link women that were not allowed to speak up in their relationship, in their marriages, to autoimmune disease. You can research it. You can search his name, Dr. Gabble, and I think you should be able to find his publication, his researches on this, and maybe other labs that carry that research on this. I intentionally started my video with those clips just to let us know how men view us. Imagine being sent to a psych home because you were vocal, because you were expressing yourself, because you thought you were married to a human. You thought the person you're married to should see you as a human. In your head, oh, I'm a wife, I should also have a voice. Imagine being sent to an asylum home, a psychiatric home for that. Women went through a lot in the past. So when we are talking about this, it's not like we are stupid. We are not. Men are not what we assume they are to us. And the people encouraging this behavior are not just doing it themselves. They have it in the system and they are grooming young boys to carry on this mindset and this point of view, this perspective towards life. And we see them all the time in our society, in people's marriages, how women are being treated. So imagine being married to a man that thinks you're not supposed to have a voice, and the moment you try to speak up and rebel, they send you to a psych home and then they tag it something. In our current society, we see that activists, they try to silence them. They say, oh, they are mad. Something is wrong with them. They have mental issues. Just to silence them. So they've been using this strategy on women. The second set of videos I played just to let us know how women don't have identity, all in the name of marriage and having children. And this is what men want. This is how they want it to be. Who are you to have identity? You're supposed to make your life all about me. That's how they want it to be. Imagine a woman having identity, doing her own thing. She will never have time for that man. She will never see a reason to center the man. And remember, many women are in marriages that are not favorable to them because of survival. They need to feed. It gets worse when you're in a marriage where the man is the sole provider. I mean, financially. So seeing women saying they want to be by themselves, women waking up and saying, I don't think men are for me. Don't be too quick to judge. Just understand. If you have a man that is working out for you, good for you. So don't generalize and say, oh, what these people are saying, they don't know what they're saying. No, don't say that. Do not invalidate other people's experience. If your own experience is good for you. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Feel free to leave your comments. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and families. And subscribe if you're yet to do so. Give me a like. Thank you so much for your support. And I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.